What's up, everyone? This week on The Nerd Man, I'm going to be talking about movies versus TV. All right, well, let's get right into it. As far as movies and TV goes, I have sort of had a switch over the years. Um, I really prefer movies over TV. In fact, I don't even watch TV very much anymore. Um, So I guess throughout this discussion here, I guess I'd want to see what your opinions are. So leave those in the comments below if you have any thoughts or ideas on the matter. But I guess first I am going to start out with my history with TV and movies. So, I mean, I've always watched movies. I'm a huge movie fan, a movie buff. Although lesser in the recent years, my time is spread across so many different things. I kind of have to pick which hobby I want to focus on from time to time. But I wanted to be a filmmaker. Part of me still does, but movies have always been something that I really enjoy sitting down and watching. I love the stories, action movies, dramas. I mean, I just like the idea that you can sit down for a couple hours and have a story and be entertained, and that's really what I look for in a movie. As far as TV goes, though, TV is a little bit different because TV runs longer. And when I was growing up, I watched a lot of TV. The TV was always on. I had a TV in my bedroom, and we had cable and everything, and you just watched one show after the other. And I think that's what a lot of people did and still do to this day. The TV just stays on. When a show's done, another one starts, and you just keep watching and watching. Well, as I got older and moved out, I began to realize there was a period of time where I realized I had not turned the TV on for 6 months as far as in to watch a show on TV, on cable, on whatever network channels. I hadn't even watched anything. So I decided to get rid of cable. I got rid of my TV channels and everything, and I was buying a lot of movies and DVDs and stuff at the time, and I enjoyed shows at that time. I would buy box sets of TV shows and I would binge watch. This is like before Netflix and stuff really came into play with streaming. But yeah, I just have a lot of shows. I'd keep up with the seasons and stuff because I guess the thing with me, what kind of going on to my next point, I guess, is the reason why I like movies and TV is because of story. And the reason why I tend to like movies a lot more is because movies can tell a story in one setting. Now, I mean, sometimes there's sequels and trilogies and things, and they leave you on cliffhangers sometimes, and that's, you know, that's going to happen on occasion, but usually a movie is a self-contained thing in one story. Now, TV shows, on the other hand, especially if it's a more dramatic TV show, they tend to go on and on and on, especially if it's a popular show. And their story is told over a long period of time. And I know some people like that, especially in regards to character development and stuff. And, you can go into more things with story. But sometimes I think that actually hinders TV shows when a show goes on too long. And for me personally, I like to have that story. So to sit and watch in all these episodes, and especially if a show has gone on and even completed, I mean, it could be a ton of episodes you have to watch to really see the whole story. But I guess the reason, well, I began to separate from TV. It was a sort of a slow process. when Netflix sort of came out with the streaming Netflix and everything, I mean, I binged watched a few things here or there. I would watch shows. I thought it was the greatest thing ever. But as time went on, me and my wife, we would watch shows here or there. In particular, we watched Lost together, and Lost was just an overload of drama. It was a good show, and I liked it, but it was just one of those shows where like you needed to see the next one, but there was so many more and so many more, and waiting. Another thing about me is I really don't like to watch TV shows usually until they're completely done, like run its course, or at the very least the season is done, so I can watch that whole season in a relatively small time setting. But I also was watching, I believe, Chuck. Smallville. Smallville was a big one, and Smallville was 10 seasons. It took years, and the drama and the build up and everything, and in the end, spoiler alert, he just barely becomes Superman at the very last episode. And while I enjoyed the journey for the most part, in the end, I felt disappointed. And a lot of times that's what happens with TV shows for me. And some people might say that it's all about the journey and not the destination so much. I'm more of I go in the middle sometimes, but I probably tend to like the destination more than the journey. I like to be there. I'm a completionist, and TV shows don't often end well, or they can't wrap it up with an ending that fits the entirety of the show. It's a lot of times I think it's really difficult, and it's especially bad when you watch year after year and then they kind of end the show on a bad note or something on some shows. You don't get that ending you were hoping for. I mean, I think a TV show should almost always end on a happy ending, because you've invested so much time into that show. I don't want to leave that show with a negative feeling in the end, you know? That's my opinion, but I began to separate from TV. I began to watch less and less. Now, my wife, on the other hand, she likes TV quite a bit for basically the reasons kind of opposite of me. I mean, she really likes TV for the sake of character development, and I know a lot of people agree with that. They like TV for character development and just a longer story development too. But I guess I still like movies. I always like to sit down, watch a movie. I don't need as much character development. I'm just entertained by that moment, that immediate story, and I just enjoy it, I guess. It's not to say I don't still watch TV. There is TV I still watch. In fact, lately I've been really enjoying Elementary. I'm a huge Sherlock Holmes fan. And I was skeptical about Elementary. I watched the BBC Sherlock and enjoyed it. And again, that really fits me because as self-contained episodes, basically, they do have an overarching story, but you can kind of watch them for the most part, unless you get sort of on a cliffhanger ending. But what I was skeptical about Elementary, especially because Watson was gender swapped to a girl, but I really like Johnny Lee Miller, and I started watching it, and I don't mind Lucy Liu either, but I love that show because even though it's going on season after season, each episode is very self-contained. You can pick up that show and drop it however much you want because each episode can be watched by itself and it ends and there's a resolution. Some storylines and plot lines continue across multiple episodes, but they're very minor, and again, each show can be watched very easily on its own. And sitcoms are kind of the same too. Sitcoms, they are kind of self-contained episodes. Sometimes they have a light overarching, arching story, but for the most part, I don't mind sitcoms either. It's the drama shows that really get me. The last show I think I really watched and it just got to me, is because I just get invested into it kind of too much, and maybe that's my personality. But was Chuck. I finally watched all of Chuck. I started it years ago, but it came on Netflix and I binge watched the whole thing. I mean, I went crazy, and again, another show didn't quite end how I wanted it to. And that's the problem with TV also, is I believe the longer shows go, the more formulaic they get. You can almost predict what's going to happen, especially if it goes beyond even 2 seasons, really. For instance, if a show has a romantic sort of love interest or something in it, in the first season, they're going to be, are they going to get together, sort of plot line. Maybe the second season, they finally get together. Oh, but by the third season, they break up again, or they break up, and then it's like, oh, they're sort of on and off maybe, but they see other people, this and that. Fifth season, sixth season, maybe they get back together. It's so formulaic and it's almost predictable. I think what I like in particular, say, about Netflix originals, and I think this is how stories or people script stories, is Netflix release all the shows at once. They script the whole thing out. Every episode is written because they have to shoot them all to get them out to release. So I believe they can tell sort of a completed story, where other shows, they write week after week. They might have an idea of the general story arc, but they write each episode week after week and shoot it and get it ready for TV and this and that. So what I like about Netflix is I think they can focus more on the story. An example is the ones that I've watched, like the Marvel ones, Daredevil or Jessica Jones or something. They have pretty good stories, and what I also love. Okay, so this is another. I'm going all over the place here, so you're just gonna have to chime in, comment multiple times if you want to have some input. But I don't like when shows are like 24 episodes, the traditional American season. I really like how Netflix does like shorter seasons, like 13 episodes and stuff. I like the BBC when they typically do about 6 episodes a season and stuff, because you get the short, sweet season. It's complete, and you have a little bit more time than movies and to flesh out characters and stuff. I think a 13 episode season is a nice season. Sometimes 24 gets too long. 24 episodes, 26 episodes. So these are just my opinions. This is how TV could be fixed. I would actually like to see most shows just end after 1 or 2 seasons, honestly. They tell a good story and just like end it like on a high note, and make a new story. You possibly could even go back and use characters later and tell a different story, but I like the idea that stories end and there's not so much cliffhangers, because that's another problem with TV shows, is so many TV shows obviously hope they're going to go more than 1 season, and they end their shows on cliffhangers only to get canceled, and you never kind of get a resolution. So again, it's sort of that journey versus destination thing. I guess if you enjoyed the journey, so be it. But to me, I would just feel left wanting and never getting a resolution, a destination. And it's another reason I'm very choosy on the shows that I watch. I pick very carefully if I'm going to watch a show or not. I research it even sometimes before I decide to watch a show, because I don't want to get invested into something that I feel like is going to be a waste of my time. So again, I've been talking a lot about TV shows, but the reasons, I guess, why I still enjoy movies is just because they're entertaining. And some people think they don't have good character development and things, but I think I view movies even differently than most people too, because I'm just looking for the entertainment. Even a bad movie is still entertaining to me. I can find some form of entertainment in it. It's more of an. I mean, I've never walked out of a movie ever. I have stopped a couple of movies as I'm at home watching them on Netflix or something if I think it's really bad. That's more because luxury of being able to stop. If I pay money to see a movie, I'm going to sit through that movie even if I think it's bad. But usually I'm entertained to some degree with a movie. So I just like movies because of that. I mean, the production value and everything tends to be higher than a TV show a lot of times, and of course I like a lot of action movies and things and sci-fi, and a lot of times that's better in movies. I mean, there have been some great sci-fi shows and stuff though, but I don't know. That's sort of where I fall on this whole movies versus TV subject. And I guess I'd like to hear what everybody else thinks. I mean, how do you think TV could be better? Do you think TV is good where it is? Do you enjoy TV? Do you enjoy movies? What do you like or dislike about movies? Um, yeah, this is just my opinion. It's probably not even a popular opinion because I know TV shows are huge and people love them, but often I get into conversations with people and start talking about movies and TV, and they think I'm kind of crazy for the way I think. So that might be the case, but that is how I think. I guess I'm the destination person more than the journey. So that's why I like movies. They end, and you can end them in a night. It doesn't take. Even if I binge watch a show, it's still going to take me several days usually, unless it's a short show. But I wouldn't watch 13 episodes in a day. I think the most episodes I've ever watched in a day was Chuck, and I probably watched like 9 episodes or something in a day, and that's a 45-minute show. Oh, and that's the other thing too, commercials. Like ever since I got Netflix, and now we have Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime, and that sort of replaced cable, but I don't mind it because there's no commercials. Like that's another thing I hate about TV is commercials. It just pulls you out. So if I'm going to watch a TV show, it's got to be online on some sort of streaming service or whatever where commercials are cut out because I just can't tolerate commercials. Like it's a waste of my time, a massive waste. I mean, if you think about it, most of these, like if a show's on for an hour on TV, it's only a 42, 44-minute show. So you're watching like 16 minutes of commercials or more. 16 minutes. I mean, that's a ton of time. So that's another reason why I don't like TV on TV. So yeah, I mean, Netflix, Hulu, you can get about everything you want with those, and commercial free. And that's the best thing about movies too. No commercials, and it just tells that story straight through, and you're in. You're like locked in. You don't break with the commercials. So anyways, tell me what you guys think about this stuff. Movies versus TV. Does anybody think like me? I mean, should movie or TV shows be condensed to 1, maybe 2 seasons at most to tell a really good, complete story? Or, I mean, do you think shows can really go on for 10 seasons like Smallville and stay relevant? I mean, Smallville teased quite a bit and it started off poorly, and sometimes that does happen. Sometimes a show starts poorly and gets into its stride later. So if Smallville didn't go 10 seasons, I mean, I really don't think the show took off until after about season 4. So, even I can be a little bit contradicting myself, but as a general rule, I think TV shows should be shorter and tell a more contained, powerful story in 1 to 2 seasons, and then cut out before it becomes formulaic and repetitive, or just sort of teasing for teasing's sake, get you to watch the next episode, so we're going to throw a drama twist in just because. That's why I don't like TV shows, because they're always trying to hook you to come back. So they, I think, write more on the hook and the plot twist than they do, for just the goodness of the story. That's my thoughts. This is kind of a longer one, a little bit longer than my last time, but if you listened all the way through, thank you, and remember to subscribe to YouTube if you're watching this on YouTube, or SoundCloud if you want to stay up to date. I'm going to do these every week on Mondays, so if you ever have any ideas for topics you want me to discuss, leave those in the comments or somewhere and let me know. I'm always looking for something to talk about, so until next time, I will see you all later, or talk to you all later. It's kind of weird doing a vidcast and a podcast together, but I don't ever know how to address everybody. Anyways, this is the Nerd Man, signing out.